What's going on, y'all? This is your boy Kev coming to you with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be giving out my regular season NBA awards, like, who I feel should get them, as far as Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man, Most Improved, Coach of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and, of course, the MVP. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Up first, I'm going to do the Most Improved Player Award. And I think by landslide, the most improved player should go to the Pacers, Victor Oladipo. I think he averaged, 22 this season. He got drafted by Orlando. He came in. He was like a second or third option there. He was like a third or fourth option in OKC. Then, of course, he gets traded to Indiana for Paul George, the big blockbuster trade that was. And I don't think a lot was expected of him then, because I thought a lot of people thought it was going to be Miles Turner's team, but Oladipo's came in and he's been a difference maker. I mean, he's been exactly who people thought he would be when he came out of Indiana. He's that dynamic scorer. He shot the ball well, and I mean, just kudos to him, man. I mean, a lot of people felt that he was kind of a bust, but and I mean, he's coming to his own, man. He's coming to his own. I mean, for a guy that struggled as a second guy or a third guy, he's really stepped into his own in his first year as the lead man of a franchise. Second, I'm going to go Defensive Player of the Year, and I'm going to get that to Utah's Rudy Gobert, 10-10 guy, averaged 2 blocks per game. I mean, he missed a lot of games this year. He only played 56 games, but I still think he's had an incredible year defensively. The lead anchor of that Utah defense, which are playing really good right now. We'll see what they do in the playoffs, but yeah, Defensive Player of the Year goes to Rudy Gobert. All right, next I'm gonna go Sixth Man of the Year, and it was kind of a toss up last year between Eric Gordon and Lou Williams, but clearly this year it's Lou Williams for the Clippers. I mean, the only thing that people are gonna question is that Lou Williams played starters minutes. He started a lot of games because of the different things, the different injuries, and the different lineups that they had going on in LA. He plays basically starters minutes. He played 32 minutes a game, but he averaged 20. I think it was like 22 points a game. Should have been an all-star game, but hey, people like Jimmy Butler taking spots, not even logging a minute in the game. But that's a story for another day. But yeah, technically he's not a starter. He didn't start many games, so yeah, I think he deserves that Sixth Man of the Year award. He performed very well off the bench, and I just don't think there's anybody close to Lou Williams in that standard. Coach of the Year. A lot of people probably going to disagree with me, but I feel that the Coach of the Year should go to Utah's Quinn Snyder. I mean, he had 51 wins last year, but you lose your best player in free agency, Gordon Hayward. He goes to Boston with his former college coach, and your team is still able to win 48 games. I mean, nonetheless, being led by a rookie. Again, remember, Rudy Gobert didn't play that much. He played 56 of the 82 games, so there was a long stretch where Rudy Gobert didn't play, and I think Snyder did a great job of coaching. As for having Donovan Mitchell, a rookie, lead the team in scoring, and the improvement of Ricky Rubio. I mean, scoring the basketball. You had Joe Ingles, you had Derek Favors. Favors was considered, I think he was considered a bust, but he's come along strong. I mean, I just feel that it was a hell of a coaching job. And plus, you lose George Hill, and then you lose Rodney Hood at the trade deadline. Those are 3 guys that were instrumental to that team last year as well. And again, you still have 48 wins in the Western Conference, and you almost got the 3rd seed if you didn't lose to they lose to the Trailblazers at the last game of the year. But heck of a job by Quinn Snyder. That's why he deserves That's why I feel he deserves Coach of the Year. I understand Dwayne Casey did a heck of a job in Toronto, but I just feel that we've seen that before. Mike D'Antoni, he won last year. You know what I mean? His team won by the Rockets. They increased their win total by 10. Got the first seed in the West, but I don't know. I mean, I felt that the Rockets were going to be pretty good coming into the season anyway. I really didn't expect anything out of Utah. I don't think that people even expect them to make the playoffs. So that's why I feel that Quinn Snyder should get Coach of the Year. All right, now to the two most controversial awards this season. I'm going to start with the Rookie of the Year. Donovan Mitchell from Utah and Ben Simmons from the 76ers are the top two candidates for Rookie of the Year. Donovan Mitchell, again, like I said earlier, led his team in scoring as a rookie. He was actually drafted by Denver. It's kind of ironic when I bring Denver up because Mitchell, again, leads his team in scoring as a rookie and led his team to the playoffs. He's the first guy to do that since Carmelo Anthony, also drafted by Denver back in 2003. Ben Simmons, 12 triple-doubles, most ever by a rookie. Averaged, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. A heck of a season for him, helping the 76ers get to the third seed in the Eastern Conference. A lot of people really didn't expect that much out of the Sixers. They kind of expected the top. It's gonna be a bottom 4 seed. I thought that they were going to be good enough to get a top 4 seed, and they proved me right. So I mean, we'll see what happens in the playoffs. They're a sleeper in the East for sure. But as far as who should get it, I think it should be. I think both of them should get it. I think it should be a co-rookie of the year between both Mitchell and Simmons because you can't really deny neither one of their work this season. And last but not least, the NBA MVP award. James Harden and LeBron James are the favorite. Harden, 30 points a game, scoring champion. Last couple of years, he could have made a case that he could have been MVP, especially a couple of years ago when Steph Curry won his second. I mean, I felt that James Harden had a heck of a year that year. I forget if that was Curry's unanimous MVP or not, but it doesn't matter really. But yeah, Harden, I think third time's the charm for him. I think he will finally break through and win the NBA MVP, only because of history, though. And when I say history, I mean usually in the MVP goes to the best player on the best team. Rockets 65 wins, top seed in the playoffs period, not just the West, but in the playoffs period. Again, Harden's the best player on the team. And since 1985, there's really only been 3 guys that have won the MVP award when their team has finished outside of the top 2 in the conference. Michael Jordan in 1988 won the MVP award when his team was third in the Eastern Conference that year. What was that? He put up some amazing stats. He averaged 35 points a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He also averaged 40 minutes a game. So he really played a lot, and I think that kind of played a lot into it because back then, again in '88, you had teams like LA, you had teams like Boston, you had teams like the Pistons. They were so team driven, You have multiple guys that can hurt you on those squads. They play so much as a team. There's really not there's really not one guy that really stood out from those teams. I mean, because they were just such great teams. You know, with the Bulls, and of course Jordan stood out, and Jordan stood out, and Jordan only. You know, Jordan didn't have a Kevin McHale. Jordan didn't have a Joe Dumars. Jordan didn't have a James Worthy or something like that playing with him. It was basically him on his own. You know, again, averaging 40 minutes, averaging 35 a game. I mean, I think that's why. I mean, his season stood out head and shoulders above any other guy, so that's why he got the MVP. Karl Malone in '99, even not in '98-'99 season. This one was kind of crazy. It was because you know, back in '99 there was only 2 divisions, and plus it was a lockout season. I think they only played 50 games, and again, there was only 2 divisions, and San Antonio and Utah tied for the best record in the league. But they were both in the same division, and I guess a tiebreaker or better division record by San Antonio. San Antonio finished above Utah, and Utah was actually bounced to the 3rd seed because you had to be a division winner to get in a top. If you were a division winner, then you got a higher seed. Even if a team that was even if a team that finished second in the division had a better record, the division winner got the higher seed. And that was exactly the case with Utah, because Portland, who was 35-15 in that shortened season, they got the 2nd seed in the West, so Utah dropped down to 3rd. And then, of course, last year was Russell Westbrook. That's just because he had a spectacular, historic season. 42 triple-doubles. Nobody's ever done that before. Passing Oscar Robertson for most in the season. Average a triple-double. I mean, what else can you say? Reason why I'm saying all that is because, you know, a lot of talk for LeBron James. I'm a LeBron James fan. I mean, he's on his career average of 27 points a game, but he has a career high in rebounds in eight rebounds a game, and then he averages a career high in assists with 9. I mean, in year 15 of his career, year 15, 33 years old, putting up those type of numbers, those are staggering numbers for a guy that old. But, I mean, and with that much wear and tear on him, but, you know, I mean, that's not out of the ordinary for LeBron James. I mean, those are great numbers for anybody, but for LeBron, I mean, he's been doing that his whole career, so, I mean, we're basically used to that, so that's why I feel he won't get the MVP. He deserves it. He definitely deserves it, but I just feel that his season wasn't good enough to garner the MVP honors, to take the MVP honors away from the best player on the best team, which will be James Harden. Sorry, another thing I forgot to say that, you know, again, like I said, those 3 guys finished in those 3 guys were not in the top 2. Again, LeBron, he's not in the top 2 either. He's the 4th seed in the East. So he shouldn't be the 4th seed, but he's the 4th seed in the East. But I, you know, remember what that quote that he said, it doesn't matter what seed he is, he's always going to be a danger. But, you know, while that may be true, I mean, you're the 4th seed in the East. That's just not worthy of the MVP. I mean, unless you had that breakout season, which LeBron didn't have. He just had a I don't want to call it a regular season. He just had a LeBron-like season. But, I mean, it's exactly what it is. I mean, no matter how impressive it is, LeBron's done, you know, he's done it before. He's put up those type of numbers before. So, I mean, you hate to take his greatness for granted, but that's what happens sometimes. All right, that's it for my awards. But then one last thing, I'm gonna give out my All-NBA First Team awards. I mean, not award. I'm gonna name my All-NBA First Team. Obviously, a lot of guys that you heard in this video already is going to be in this first team. We'll start with the guards. I think it's 2 guards, 2 forwards, 2 in a center. I feel that Russell Westbrook and James Harden are the two guards. Again, Russell Westbrook for the second consecutive year, the first man to ever do it, averaging a triple-double. He's definitely going to be up there at 25, 10, and 10 this year. His usage rate was down from last year. He had a little bit more help around him, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony. I think that might be why he wasn't in the MVP conversation as much this year. He should be. He's probably finished third behind Harden and LeBron. And of course, James Harden for just what I just mentioned, scoring champion, 65-win Rockets team. I mean, he deserves it. For the forwards, I have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Of course, LeBron, 27, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. Again, having a heck of a season that he's had in year 15. All the turmoil that's went on with the Cavs this year. Now they changed the team at the trade deadline, and for him to still be able to put up those numbers while getting acclimated to new teammates, in the beginning of the year and toward the end of the year at the trade deadline. I mean, it's a testament to his greatness. Anthony Davis. Davis put the Pelicans on his back when Boogie Cousins went down with that injury, averaging 30 since Cousins' injury. Literally carried New Orleans to the playoffs. We'll see how they do against who they got. I think they got the Trailblazers. We'll see how they do against them. But Anthony Davis had a heck of a season. I mean, definitely deserves to be in the MVP conversation as well for the year that he's had. Again, losing your second best, losing. Well, it was kind of a toss-up to whether Cousins or Davis was the best player on the Pelicans, but Anthony Davis has shown he's clearly been the guy since Cousins went down, and just a huge performance for him in the last 2 months. My center by default will be Joel Embiid. He's had a heck of a year. I think it was 23 points, 10 rebounds. When I say by default, I just feel that Boogie Cousins, if he would have stayed healthy and if he would have kept putting up the numbers that he would have put up, he definitely would have been first team all center. But again, Embiid, a big part of the 76ers success. He missed the last couple weeks of the year after with the orbital fracture in his face. He's now been fitted for a mask, so he'll miss game 1 today. But he should be back for the playoffs. He should be back. I don't know when, but he should be back at some point for Philadelphia in the first round playoff series. But that's going to do it for this video, man. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'm going to see y'all in the next one.